Welcome to Coyote News. Your dorm CA may be getting a new roommate next year.
Also, USD's renewed rivalry with state has increased alumni donations.
And Taylor Moore takes on coaches in this week's More Sports. But first, the headlines. Brianna?
It's still February, but parts of the Midwest, including Vermilion, are experiencing out-of-season thunderstorms and even tornadoes. A powerful storm system produced multiple tornadoes and lashed the Midwest early today. They laid waste to small towns in Illinois and Kansas, killing at least 9 people. An apparent twister rolled through Branson early this morning and hopscotched up the city's main roadway, ripping roofs off hotels and damaging some of the city's famed music theaters. In the past 24 hours, at least 16 tornadoes have been reported. The Ohio teenager accused of killing 3 students in a shooting rampage chose his victims at random. 17-year-old TJ Lane admitted taking .22 caliber pistol and a knife to the Chardon High School Monday and firing 10 shots at a group of students sitting in a cafeteria. Prosecutor David Joyce says Lane will probably be charged with 3 counts of aggravated murder. Beamy Mitt Romney is focusing on President Barack Obama after victories in both the Michigan and Arizona primaries. Romney says President Obama has failed to lead the American economy. He says it doesn't matter that it was a close vote in his home state of Michigan, holding off a strong challenge from Rick Santorum. Romney says a win is a win, even though it was a narrow one. And those are your headlines.
Thanks, Brianna. The U's rivalry with SDSU isn't just good for sports fans. It's also good for both the Alumni Association and the USD Foundation. Coyote News' Diana Johnston says donations go up when the Coyotes beat the Jackrabbits.
The athletic department saw the number of visitors on the athletic website quadruple the day leading up to the men's game and even days after the women's. Merchandise activity also saw a large peak, doubling in sales.
Senior Associate Athletic Director David Herbster says it's a general trend for alumni donations to increase when a school is winning. However, Herbster says more importantly, the recent wins will help alumni believe in USD more as a new Division I school.
Athletically, wins like this help because it helps us tell a story. That makes people more receptive to listening. And what we did against, South Dakota State, does that mean more people will give? I'd like to think that they would. I'd like to think that they understand now and they believe in us.
Within the last couple weeks, the USD Foundation has received notes attached to checks saying great win and go Yotes. Yet, Director of Planned Giving, Susan Tuvey, says it's hard to directly attribute wins with donations.
We have not specifically tracked that. I suppose we'd have to ask them. But there are lots of reasons people give to a university. And athletics is certainly one piece of it, but it's not the only piece.
For Coyote News, I'm Diana Johnson.
Herbster and Tuvey say the wins are re-engaged alumni and reinforced university pride. An increase in the demand for dorm rooms means that resident CAs might be getting roommates. Coyote News' John Moeller says the change could come next year.
Knowing what our enrollment projections are and the numbers that we expect to have in the residence halls, we had to let them know that it's entirely possible that some or all of them may need to have roommates who live in the traditional halls. If we can avoid them having roommates, that's still our desire. At the same time, it's a great problem for us to have. Continued growth at the university, more people living on campus. Reality is they live in a 2-person room right now as a single individual, and when we're looking at space, it makes more sense for us to give them roommates than it does to cobble space together in lounges or other places to have somebody live together. But there's nothing definite that it will happen. Like I say, if we can avoid it, we will. But at the same time, the reality is we also need to make sure we're taking care of our students and giving them the best living environment possible.
Student housing officials say they are just considering the roommate plan and that if possible, CAs will be able to continue living without a roommate.
USD's medical students had the opportunity to further their studies with a presentation on working with at-risk children. The Sanford School of Medicine welcomed Dr. Martin Brokenleg to both the Sioux Falls campus and in Vermilion at the Muck. Brokenleg told students about the training and educational programs he's developed for at-risk children. Broken Leg is a member of the Rosebud Sioux tribe, has a PhD in psychology, and was an Augustana professor for over 30 years. The Coyote dance team got some new members last weekend. Details are coming up next.
Students heading off to spring break this weekend are being reminded to stay in contact with their family and friends. Global Learning Coordinator Eric Licey says it's okay to have fun over the break, but it's important to let people know exactly where you're going, who you're traveling with, and how to contact you while you're away. Licey also advises students to make copies of important identification documents and leave them with someone you trust. When leaving the hotel, always travel with a partner and let others know where you're going. Licey says it's important to be aware of local drinking laws. Stay safe and have fun.
USD's dance team added some new members over the weekend. Coyote News' Cassie Bartlett was at the Dome for their halftime performance.
The Coyote dance team hosted a kids clinic Saturday at the Dakota Dome. Dance team member Hannah Downing says the purpose of the camp is to teach kids the fun of dance.
Just having fun and learning that dance is still fun even though we're older, and we just like to be with them and hang out and goof around.
Junior team captain Brianna Johnston says the camp also teaches the dancers new skills.
Just to get some dance knowledge to little young kids and in the community of Vermilion.
Johnston says the crowd at the games enjoys seeing new dancers.
I don't know if they get sick of us, but it's kind of new material, and then they see little kids running around, and it's fun.
Even with the age gap, Downing says the dancers enjoy performing.
Yes, some of them get nervous, but they really love it. It's fun. It's fun to show off for their parents. If they don't know what they're doing, they make things up, and it's pretty fun for them. We host this dance camp to raise money for all of the outfits that we've had to get this year and our trip to Minnesota.
Downing says the team hosts dance camps every year, and she enjoys working with young dancers.
Oh yes, it's so much fun. They're so much fun to work with, and they're very energetic to learn new things, so it's a good time.
For Coyote News, I'm Cassie Bartlett.
The theater department just presented a play set in the 1980s. Top Girls addressed issues that resonate today. Set in Britain, Top Girls highlighted the inequalities of gender and class. Marlene is the central character, recently promoted to be the head of her agency. Brooke Grasby plays Marlene and says her character is a strong, independent individual.
She's very masculine in the way she goes about her business because she's trying to make it in a man's world. It's just been interesting to be a woman that looks down on other women because of them doing their own roles. She thinks that women are passive, and she's trying to be dominant.
Grasby says Top Girls offers more than escapist entertainment for its viewers.
I guess it's more of a play for people to reflect on and maybe put it into their own lives and think about it like that.
Top Girls by Carol Churchill is set in England during the Margaret Thatcher era.
In this week's Coyote blog, John Hines explains how some students who saw the Maze perform in Alps Auditorium got more than they expected.
Illusions, magic, tricks. No matter what you call them, students who attended the Maze were expecting to see an entertaining show. One thing they didn't see coming was the sudden and unexpected religious message presented at the show. Sure, the show was sponsored by Crew, but nothing on the posters suggested that the illusionist would have a distinctly Christian tone. In fact, the only veiled reference to religion on the Maze's website reads, "The Maze, when asked by host organizations, will share its own philosophical belief about the nature of truth." Confused? Don't worry, so were many students who went to see an illusionist, not a preacher. It was disingenuous of Crew to advertise the event without mentioning the nature of the performance. You can't trick people into being Christians. While the Maze certainly has a right to express religious beliefs in a public venue, the best illusion of the night was when the Maze simultaneously used the First Amendment and made it disappear. The Mays refused to let Coyote News film any of the show. So the freedom of religion part of the First Amendment was allowed during the show, but not the freedom of the press part. In the future, crew needs to make it clear to students if an event is going to be religious in nature. And no event open to all students should ever be closed to the student media. For Coyote Blog, I'm John Hines.
Thanks, John. Coming up, live reporter Cassie Bartlett talks with 2 basketball seniors moving on after the season.
Danny Thomas founded St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital. He said no child should die in the dawn of life. Coyote News' Brianna Clark reports on the USD organization that is helping fight this cause.
Up Till Dawn is back on campus for its 2nd year, and Public Relations Chair Nick Albers says the organization is still establishing itself.
I think we were probably just a little more organized than we were last year. Last year was the first thing, so it kind of hadn't been established yet. Nobody really knew what to expect. And I think after people experienced it last year, they kind of got a feel for what's going on with it and why they're doing this. And so, it's kind of evolved in just the sense that people kind of know what we're about now and what the cause is going for.
Despite being young on campus, students still showed up for the beach theme event to write letters.
I think this is a very good cause. It's great to see a bunch of college students coming together to raise money and awareness for cancer. So it's really good to see everyone coming out here and doing this.
Freshman Lizzie Kahns says she participates for the kids.
I participate in Up Till Dawn because it's a great organization to support, and I think that the kids deserve it.
Participants played summer games, and those who addressed 50 or more letters received a free shirt. For Coyote News, I'm Brianna Clark.
Up Till Dawn addressed more than 600 letters asking for donations, which potentially could bring in $5,000 for St. Jude's Children's Research Hospital.
Smooth Jazz had feet tapping last week at the Colton Recital Hall as the jazz band hosted its first performance of the semester. The jazz band practices for 1 hour, 3 days of the week. Members of the band have to audition to get in, and they have the option to take it for credit. The jazz band hosts a festival each year for area high schools. The music department has 2 separate jazz bands. Dr. Timothy Farrell directed the jazz band, which has 1 more concert coming up later this semester. When the Top Girls Play opened last weekend, Yote reporter Scott Cook decided to investigate what it takes to bring a play to life.
USD Theater, home to some of the most creative minds here in South Dakota. Here in Knutson Theater, spectators enjoy the collaborative efforts put on by the USD Theater Department. Today we are with Top Girls director Ray Jenna, who will give us a special look at what people don't see behind the scenes.
It's a cast of 7, but we have about at least 25 people backstage doing various things. And if we want to include everybody, it's close to 100 people that contributed from designers and actors to box office, publicity, the crew who's running the show, the people who built the show, the people who hung the lights for the show. It's got to be about 100 people have worked on to bring the show to the stage.
Backstage has many parts, including a series of ropes and pulleys that raise and lower props, dozens of extra lights, and a projector system. Basically everything, including a kitchen sink. The shop where sets are built is backstage. This is also where the stage manager can spend a lot of time.
Usually we have all of the undergrad tech students working, so on average 3 to 5 people. We have lower level shop classes that require hours for in the shop. So then sometimes we'll have upwards to 15 people in the shop building at once.
To construct the set for Top Girls took between 3 and 4 weeks. To take the play from a script to a performance, about a year. And after learning of the time, strength, and creativity required for a successful performance, it became clear that what happens behind the scenes is equally as inspiring as what happens on stage. For the Yote Report, I'm Scott Cook.
Thanks, Scott. The Coyote men's basketball team finished their regular season games on Saturday. Seniors Ricardo Andriotti, Louie Krogman, and Charlie Westbrook were honored at the game. Coyote News' Cassie Bartlett is live in the muck with Krogman to find out what's next now that his senior season is over.
Louie led the Coyotes this season in assists and three-pointers made and was also second in scoring. Louie, how do you think your senior season went?
Well, I think we adjusted well to being in a new conference, the Summit League, and we got out a little bit rocky from the get-go, but we picked up some big wins against Canisius and Morehead State to kind of get the ball rolling a little bit. And then we hit the Summit League schedule, and it took a while to get that first win, but once we did, I thought we started to come together as a team and play together. And I thought the last month of the season we were really rolling, and just wish we would have had another month left to maybe get a few more wins.
So now that the season is over, what are your plans for the next few years?
Well, I have to finish up school, obviously, and just hopefully, do whatever anything leads me, I guess.
Okay, thanks, Louie. The Coyotes finished their season 10-18 and also had a big upset over SDSU. For Coyote News, I'm Cassie Bartlett.
Thanks, Cassie. Coming up, Coyote News' Taylor Moore has something to say about coaches in this week's More Sports. Stay with us.
Today on Coyote Sports, the men's basketball team finished its regular season.
A women's basketball player earned her second National Conference honor, and commentator Taylor Moore explains a coach's responsibilities. But first, sports headlines. Brianna?
Thanks, Diana. For the first time in 54 years, the Daytona 500 was postponed. The event was scheduled for Sunday, but rain in Florida pushed it back to Monday. Once the race began late that night, Juan Pablo Montoya lost control in the 160th lap and crashed into a track-drying truck. The accident caused more delays since the truck held 200 gallons of jet kerosene and started a fire. Next week, the Sacramento City Council votes on a measure that would allow the Kings to build a new arena. The team and the NBA reached a tentative deal Monday. The proposed arena would cost $387 million, but the city would contribute up to $250 million. The Kings were almost relocated to Anaheim last year, but were given until March 1st to devise a new financial plan to pay for the arena. Lakers guard Kobe Bryant surpassed the record of a legendary player, but he also suffered a broken nose Sunday during the NBA All-Star Game. A hard foul by Heat guard Dwayne Wade broke Bryant's nose, but not before he scored enough points to pass the Michael Jordan as the NBA All-Star Game's highest scorer. Jordan finished his career with 267 total points in the All-Star event. Bryant now stands with 271. And those are your headlines.
Thanks, Brianna. At the sound of the buzzer Saturday, the men's basketball team's first year in the Summit League came to an end. Though the Coyotes ended the season with both a loss to Oakland and a losing record, head coach Dave Boots says the team handled the league transition well. Senior Louie Krogman says he's proud of how the team did this season and how they rebounded from earlier losses. Krogman says the standout moments of the season were beating South Dakota State at the Dome and how the team came together. Though the season just ended, the team isn't taking any breaks. Boots says players are getting right back at it, starting off-season workouts this week.
Averaging 20 points in the Coyotes' 2 wins last week, senior forward Amber Hagee earned her second College Sports Madness Summit League Women's Basketball Player of the Week. College Sports Madness selects players that have a major impact for their teams. Hagee currently leads the women's team in scoring, averaging almost 19 points a game. The women's basketball team has won 11 of its last 12 games. Monday night, the Lady Yotes defeated IPFW 70-56 in their final conference game of the season. With the conference win, the Coyotes finished third in Summit League standings. Tomorrow, the team ends its regular season hosting SIU Edwardsville at the Dome. At the Summit League Indoor Championships, the track and field teams finished in the top 5 and ahead of conference rival SDSU. The women's team earned second overall thanks to an individual championship by senior Emma Ladwig in the 800 meters. Freshman Annalisa Huschel received the Women's Newcomer of the Year award after 3 top 5 finishes during the event. The men's team took 4th.
On this week's More Sports, commentator Taylor Moore thinks coaches need to keep their personal desires in check.
Every team has a leader, a person that can advise and guide, who will always be there in times of stress, who makes sure that each member of the team is ready to go. Coaches are always there for their teams, ensuring that everything is being done in order to make sure that success is always an option. Coaches always work to build their athletes up. Sometimes a coach may need to break a player down in order to build them up, challenging them to be better players as well as athletes. But when a coach places their desires above a team, issues will arise. The success of the team should be more important than the success of the coach or his personal desires. For example, a coach should make sure that they always place the best players on the court or field rather than choosing to play a certain player out of spite. Coaches are the biggest part of the foundation of any team. They're the anchors, the leaders, the role models. As John Wooden once said, it isn't what you do, but how you do it. For More Sports, I'm Taylor Moore.
Thanks, Taylor, and that's all for Coyote Sports. Coming up next, spring break isn't exciting for commentator Teresa Johnson.
Spring break is nearly here, and students are eagerly awaiting the much-needed vacation time. But what about students whose plans fell apart? What do? Coyote commentator's Teresa Johnson has the depressing answer.
Gosh, this class is such a drag. I can't wait for spring break.
Are you going anywhere fun?
Yes. Me and one of my friends are going to road trip down to Florida, and we're going to go get a tan and stay on the beach, and we're going to go to concerts. It's going to seriously be a blast.
I'm jealous.
Oh, I would be too. Hey girl, I just got out of class. I'm going to finish packing, and then I'll be ready. Wait, what? What? You can't go now. No!
South Dakota, -30.
Well, fantastic. Well, happy spring break to you, too. And I was like, baby, 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 oh, like baby, 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 no, like baby, 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 oh, I thought I'd be on spring break. Oh. Hello? Oh, hi, yeah. Oh, hi, yeah. My spring break is awesome. Like, seriously, it's so warm and sunny, and all I do is tan, and we go out at night, and yeah, it's just a blast. It's just serious blast.
Oh, hey, how was spring break?
It was really good. I mean, we like laid out all the time, and it was really relaxing, and there were parties, and it was so much fun. Seriously, just so much fun.
Did you wear a lot of sunscreen? You don't look very tan.
Well, neither do you.
Hopefully more other spring breaks will go a little bit better than Teresa's did. This week on Out and About, we asked you what your plans for the week are.
For spring break, I'm taking some students from the Go Teach grant out to visit partner schools in western South Dakota.
I am going to Colorado, and we're going to go skiing up in the mountains for my birthday, so I'm really excited.
I'm going to be going to Mitchell to see the incredible Corn Palace.
I'm going out to California to go visit my mom, and I'm getting my wisdom teeth out.
Well, me and a couple of guys from the fraternity that I'm in are going to Cherry Peak. We're renting a cabin and we're going to go skiing for a few days.
I'm actually going to California with my brother and my aunt. We're going to the Indian Wells Tennis Tournament for a few days.
I'll probably just be going home during spring break.
I am going AWOL at Zion National Park.
I'm going to Canada where the drinking age is 18 and I'm only 20.
I'm going to Sioux Falls and to hang out with friends.
Well, plan on going home to Sioux City.
Sleep a lot and catch up on all the homework I haven't done these first 2 months of school.
And after that, torment my family like I normally do.
A new issue of the Volant hit newsstands today. Pick up your issue to read about the importance of graduating on time and some student DJs who turn their hobby into a business. Those stories and more can be found on volantonline.com, and you can also check out the Coyote News link on the page. And that's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to check us out on our YouTube channel, Coyote Campus News. Have a great night and a good weekend. We'll see you next time.